Hello, this is Sammy33 and another YouTube video tonight. The last thing we're looking at, the NDL. So I have been trying to do block recaps of the team. We are a little behind, but we will make it up, I'm sure. Right now, this would be block 5 or the week 10 recap. So as you can see, we have the first 6 games of the season taken care of. From the prior block, the last block, Buffalo. It looks like there'll be a replacement for Trendon, so we'll get that game scheduled hopefully this upcoming week. Kent State shouldn't be hard. It's just trying to play at night. It's hard to play in the morning because, my work schedule is in the morning, so it's really tough to make it up in the mornings. Understandable. And then we've got Northern Illinois and Bowling Green in the upcoming block. Those will open on Sunday. It is a holiday weekend, so we'll see maybe later in the week. So ultimately 4 games. So really, this really could decide our season when I get to the next update next Saturday. A lot could happen. We could go 4-0 and all of a sudden conference, championshipness could be a thing. We could go 0-4. I'm pretty sure we'll probably find our way somewhere in one of the middle options. It's never the extreme, it's always the middle. So we'll see what happens. 2 home games, 2 road games. Maybe we can break away from being 500. As it stands now, you saw my earlier poll video doing the polls. You got Ball State. I still think they'll be ranked. They just may drop a little bit, but we're not really paying attention to total overall record. I mean, to be 7-1 and you're only lost to Ohio State, it's definitely nothing to scoff at. Looking at conference play, a lot can happen. So you've got some teams that don't have a lot of conference games to this point, could have a huge impact on what's going on. Buffalo, I mean, literally it feels like the entire schedule is open. Who knows with the replacement what happens there. You've got teams with 1 loss. That'd be me. Ranked Toledo, which still will be ranked. Bowling Green, Eastern Michigan. So first of all, Ball State and Ohio, we'll have to see if they can remain undefeated and who plays who, because we don't all play each other. That's something else to factor into. You see 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 12 teams in the conference. You play 8 games. A lot could happen. So with the teams that have 1 loss, I do still have games against Eastern Michigan and Bowling Green, so I could have some impact on what happens. I could help myself, I could hurt myself, or I could play spoiler depending on what happens in the other games. Kent State 2 losses. They're not out of it. Pretty much anyone that has 2 losses is still in the mix. We'll have to see how things play out going forward. But we did play 1 game this block. That game, North Texas. So in this one, we do end up winning 52-20. Defense has definitely been an issue with us over the course of the season. Akron, a slow start offensively for Akron. Something I'm not used to because it feels like we've really struggled on the defensive side of the ball. So we got things going in that game. Against North Texas, against FSU Penguin, a coach that I played multiple times before. It seemed like it was going to go the same way. Just walking down the field. Lucky that he missed an extra point in the first quarter, but then the interception bug hit, and when it hit very hard. A pick 6, a pick that led to a touchdown, and then to start the second half, a pick that also led to a touchdown. So the defense only allowing 7.5 points is really crazy for us. Hell, the fact that we only allow 20 points is crazy because this defense has had its struggles to this point between cup games and the regular season. Really, the last 2 games are the only games that they've played decent. Not well, but decent. So I'll take what I can get and see offensively. We were outgained. Overall, 462 to 304. See, the rushing was outrushed. North Texas rush game was very, let's say very impactful. A lot of rushes. The back was not touched until we got to the second level. So that was definitely a little bit frustrating. We did the best we could. Thankfully, passing the turnovers helped us out a lot. We were out passing this one, 312 to 163. First downs, 26 to 15. That's a huge difference. And then the defense. That's really where the game was won in this one. 5 turnovers. And the pick 6 definitely is what kind of kicked things off. A pick six and then another pick that led to a touchdown before the half, allowing us to really get back in this game. Well, I wouldn't say get back in this game, but allowing us to be able to build a lead, something that we have not been able to do. We've been able to get up in games, but it's just basically a back and forth. We haven't really been able to get a lead where you can feel remotely comfortable. Third downs, 6 to 8, 3 to 5, and then the red zone. So we'll take what we can get. We'll take the dub. If we look at the player stats from this game, see from our perspective, Hayden 10 for 14 for $163, 3 TDs. So just like in the game against Akron, he was very efficient, all you can ask for. Don't necessarily care about the yards. The thing I've always cared about on offense, especially of late, is being able to convert into TD, something we've struggled with. Buckley, 16 for $139. His longest run of the season, 52 yards. He's not the fastest guy we have, but he had the biggest run of the game for us. And then receiving wise, Sam, 78 yards. Buckley, a nice touchdown pass, kind of unexpected that it worked. And then Haley on the screen pass, we'll take it. Defensively, no sacks. That's no surprise. That's been kind of par for the course. But 5 interceptions. Cone, defensive touchdown. Raybuck, defensive touchdown. So the defense chipping in with 14 of the 52 points. We'll take that. And then kicking good. Really all you can ask for. So going forward, we're going to be opening up the next block, and we're going to play Northern Illinois. Down in the Bend is 4-3 on the season. You can see he has a loss to Mississippi State. That team is ranked. He has a loss to Bowling Green. That is the other team we play in this block. And he has a loss to Ball State. That team is ranked. So you look at his record, he's 4-3. But if you take away those ranked games, he's 4-1. So he's still playing really well. And both of those games were on the road. So nothing to be ashamed of there. We'll have to see what happens. Game against Buffalo. Game against Toledo, another ranked team. And then us and Akron opening up with 2 losses. Northern Illinois is certainly not out of contention for the conference championship game. We'll have to see how things play out. But this will not be an easy game. See, this team ranks 30th, so in the top quarter of the league in points scored and passing. Our weakness, being able to slow down the passing game, whether it be to force teams to drive or teams that are able to score quickly. So we're going to have to figure something out there. If you can see, if you're 22nd in passing, 30th in points, but you're 83rd in first downs, it probably means that you have a lot of big plays. So we'll have to work on that. Defensively, I mean, it looks like it wouldn't be. It looks like this defense will also make it an exciting game, but you do have to remember a couple of those games are against ranked teams. So you have to add some context to that. This will be a tough game. Northern Illinois does have a comparable defense, especially given the offensive, team we're going to put out there. It'll be interesting. Near the bottom of the league in passing, but we're going to try to run the ball. I'm pretty sure this will be a factor at the end of the game, and really the main thing is turnovers. Can we keep from turning over the football? Easier said than done. And just to emphasize that point, I'm going to look at the player stats. And then we'll take a look at Bowling Green. That's the other team that we play. So you can see Ethan Hampton including 73% of his passes, 5 TDs to 12 interceptions. Maybe some player stats are missing because with the points, I'd imagine there's probably more there. He's also got a couple of TD runs. Brown. Yeah, we'll have to look at that because there's probably some other stuff going on too. But you see receivers. 2 top players in receptions are receivers. That means that he is able to push the ball down the field. Thomas, Mitchell. You have Brown next, but then you have McElroy. So the ball will get pushed down the field. We definitely are going to have to figure out how to do something against this offense. We'll have to see how it goes. And then the other games against Bowling Green. Vegas, 6-2 on the season, 3-1 in conference play. One of his losses is to Georgia. Nothing to be ashamed of there. Kind of the same thing, a loss here too to Toledo. This one hurts because it is a rival game, but still 6-2 on the season, but against non-ranked teams, Vegas is 6-0. Scary. Opening up will be two of the Michigan teams in the MAC, Central and Western, because it's not Eastern. And again, one loss. So a team that can control its own destiny potentially by being able to win out. You know, you have Ball State coming up. That will be a huge game. Really curious to see how that plays out. But as it stands now, big. We'll have to see what we're able to do against these guys. We'll be on the road, Bowling Green, taking a look at their team stats. Formidable for sure. They have the most points in the conference. They rank 7th in points in the league. Offensively in yards, 2nd, 17th in the league. They run the ball well, best in the conference. They pass the ball well, 3rd in conference, 17th overall, and first downs, 14. They are clearly capable of moving the ball. And defensively, well, I'd imagine it's more so because of how many points they score, not because they are struggling. 87th in the league, total offense, 11th in the conference, but 30th in the league. That's interesting. That seems odd. But rushing, yeah, this can't be right. 28th, giving up that many yards. Is it based off the average? I don't know. Well, it says they're 28th. That'd be concerning because I like to run the ball, but they're 9th in the conference, so I don't know. We'll have to see. But this will be a very tough matchup. It's on the road. I always say good teams win at home, great teams win on the road. I'm not saying we're great, but if we're going to try to be, we're going to have to figure out a way to get a road win. Connor's looking pretty good, though. 67%, or basically 68%. He's thrown for 2,000 yards, 17 TDs to 10 interceptions. One of the hardest things in a college football game or a Madden game is having that nice, healthy TD to interception ratio, or hell, at this point, a positive one. It's usually negative. So kudos to being able to do that. Stewart doing his thing on the ground. He's rushed for 750 yards, averaging 6.7 yards a carry, 11 touchdowns on the season. Receiving, got a tight end. He's doing work. 700 yards, leading the team in yardage and receptions, 6 touchdowns. You've got RJ Garcia, second on the team in receptions, third in yards, has a touchdown. The difference here, look at this. Blackburn, third in receptions, a receiver. Malcolm Johnson Jr., tied for fourth in receptions, a receiver. And then you have the running back. Very, very different than what you usually see. The running back usually ranks a little bit higher up there in receptions because you're looking at checking down, not trying to throw an interception. So we will have our work cut out because obviously this is someone that can push the ball down the field. Pancakes, looking good. Not a lot of sacks allowed. Speaking of sacks, a decent amount. Our offensive line isn't exactly great, so hands will be full. No missed kicks. No returns. Hopefully we can keep it that way. But that'll be what the opening block will present coming up. We'll see how we do. Hoping for at least a split. Ideally, if we can go 2-0, that'd be great. But we'll see what happens. Plus, Buffalo and Kent State. Like I said, a lot could change and our season could kind of become a little more clear afterwards, but the goal has always been the same. I know coming into this team, the win goal is 10. I disregarded that right away. My goal is to make a bowl game, and in order to do that, we're going to have to win 3 more games. Where we find those wins, I don't know, but we'll do our best.